This is Adam. I am going to make a short screencast here to show you how to use some of the new advising tools. We don't have documentation for them right now, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows a little bit about how to use them so that they can help advise any students that come into their office in the next couple of days. So what I'm going to do is just go up here to the Faculty tab. Don't use the Advisor tab. That one gets the same tools, but Faculty is just the main place to go. And then here is the new screen. You can activate the legacy tools and use those to register students in a pinch. The only problem is that the degree audit doesn't work there. I'm going to show you a different way to get to the degree audit. So if push comes to shove, you can use the old tools to sign students up, and don't be afraid to do that. But I wanted to show you some of the new tools in case you need to use them. So here you go to Advisee Roster. This is a sort of blank screen for you to do all sorts of searches. And if you want to look at your advisees, then make sure that your name is here in the advisor section. But if you're trying to advise a student who is not your advisee, as a lot of us do from time to time, just go to all. That'll allow you to find them. Okay, I'm going to use a person who will not be my advisee here. Nancy Euler. I happen to know that her name actually works. So this is the first part where things get a little bit tricky. So if you scroll down, you can see that she agrees, that she appears in the list of advisees. And I could just click on her name here and go to her page and try to add her courses, but that won't actually work just yet. Instead, what I need to do is actually go to Need registration clearance. I need to make sure that anybody that I'm advising is cleared to register. So I'm going to look in F1A for Fall 1. Be careful here because Fall 1, FA1 is not actually a term that works. So I'm going to go to F1A and search for exactly the same thing. And this is the important part. Here Nancy's name comes up, and see that she does not have registration clearance. So this button is what you need to find in order to make her available to add and drop courses. So when I searched for her name under Need Registration Clearance, she came up, and this button won't come up unless you search under that. So then you just need to press it, and that grants her clearance to register for that term. Okay, she's disappeared from the list because she's now cleared to register and she's not going to appear on the Need Registration Clearance list. So now I can actually go to All. This is a little bit awkward, but if you're desperately needing to register students, this is how you do it. And then I'm going to search for her again under All. And at this point, she will come up. And it looks the same, I know, but the difference is that she has actually been granted permission to register for classes. So I'm going to click on her name, and then I get into this new looking page with a lot of information. I could see her past courses by going to academic history. I can see where she transferred in courses. I can see her grades. And there are various things that you can do down here. This is the new interactive degree audit. The one that we really want to focus on here are adding or dropping her from certain courses. So I'm going to click in Add Drop Courses. Okay. So she's not allowed to register for classes here because actually I have the student program wrong. So I'm going to change this to undergraduate, and now she should be available to register. By the way, can't use the back button anywhere here or it'll really bark at you. It might bark at you even if you don't use the back button. So what you have to focus on if you need to go back is clicking on one of these two things. If I need to go back to the previous screen, I can click here and then add drop courses. But if I would use the back button, it wouldn't have allowed that. Okay, so because we need to add her to a course, I am going to go to Fall 1A. And obviously, I'm going to sign her up for a philosophy course. Not that there's any room in any philosophy courses anymore, but we're going to give that a shot. So you could type in the course code here. I could type in PH 221 and get the course. I could also search for the text of the course here. It happens to be ancient philosophy. But I'm somebody who believes in filling out as few fields as possible. So I am just going to search for all philosophy courses. And at that point, all of the ones that we have available for the Fall 1 8-week term will come up. And you'll see there's a little checkbox next to the course for whether or not she can register in it. We're nice and full in the meaning of life, which is good to see. We're not so full in ancient and medieval philosophy, so I'm actually going to click there and click Add Courses, and she will be put into the course. All right, we know she's been put into the course because it's right here. So that's the way you add someone to a course. Now I'm going to drop her from the course because we don't want to charge her for it. We want to let some real students in. But that's the way you add and drop people from courses. You don't need to be their advisor. You do need to make sure they have registration clearance, otherwise this process isn't going to work. I just want to show you something else really quick here. If we go back to the Add Course screen, the checkboxes are key, and you may not see these if you don't clear the student for registration first, as I showed you earlier in the video. So if for some reason you're trying to search for a course and don't see the checkboxes to add them, the problem is most likely that you haven't searched for them in the Need Registration Clearance and then clicked on that grant button that we saw earlier. If you do click on those, you should see the boxes and it should be just fine. But that's the way you register people for courses in the new system. I just want to show you one more thing just in case, because this is just going to be a very simple overview. I'm going to go back into advisee details here. Notice I didn't push the back button because I didn't want it to bark at me. If you want to show your schedule, you can click here. But the other interesting thing is the degree audit. We're all familiar with degree audits. It helps us determine which students to put in which classes. And this is the new interactive degree audit. It can be very useful for drilling down if she has a geography minor and she hasn't met all the requirements. I can click into it and click into it again and click into it again and see which courses she's actually needing here. So that turns out to be pretty useful, but most of us are used to being able to get an overall view of the degree audit. And for that, you actually need to scroll down and go to printable degree audit, this PDF file thing here. So I'm just going to click on this and it'll open up in a different window. But there you'll see the degree audit that we all know, and I'm not going to say love because it can be a bit difficult to work with, but at least the one that's familiar if you need to register a student in a pinch. So that's a brief overview of how to use some of the advising tools. Feel free to email me if you're getting stuck here. I can't guarantee that I'll get back to you right away because I have a little trip to take, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a short video so that in a pinch they might know what to do with the advising tools. I had to learn this in a meeting after trying to figure it out myself. Yeah, thank you.